cushions and deep upholstery. The heavy soundproofing reduced the roar of the engines to a distant, reassuring hum. The captain was calmly authoritative, the crew clean-cut and smart in their Pan-American uniforms, the stewards ever attentive. Every need was catered for. Such comfort did not come cheap. The round-trip fare was $675, half the price of a small house. The passengers were royalty, movie stars, chairmen of large corporations, and presidents of small countries. Tom Luther was none of those things. He was rich, but he would not normally have squandered his money. However, he had been asked to do a dangerous job for a very powerful man indeed, and to be owed a favour by such a man was better than money. The plane came down at an angle, its tail lower than its nose. It was quite close now, and Luther was struck again by its tremendous size. He knew that it was 109 feet long and 152 feet from one wingtip to the other, but the measurements were just numbers until you actually saw the thing floating through the air. It touched the water, splashing across the waves like a stone thrown skimwise, sending up small explosions of foam. A moment later, with an explosion of spray, the hull plunged into the water. It cleaved the surface, ploughing a white furrow in the green, sending twin curves of spray high in the air. The hull sank lower, then it began to tilt forward. The spray increased as the plane levelled out, submerging more and more of its belly. Then its nose was down. It slowed suddenly. The spray diminished to a wash, and the aircraft sailed the sea like a ship. Luther realized he had been holding his breath, and let it out in a long sigh. The plane taxied towards its berth. There the privileged passengers would emerge, stepping onto the sea wing, then onto a specially designed raft and up a gangway to dry land. Luther turned away, stopped suddenly. Standing close was a broad-shouldered man in a dark grey suit. The man had bright blue eyes and a thin, cruel mouth. He stared into Luther's eyes. "I have a message for you." Luther's heart skipped a beat. "The man will be on this plane on Wednesday when it leaves for New York. Don't let us down." Imperial Airways had a flying boat facility just across the estuary from Southampton docks. Imperial's mechanics serviced the Clipper, supervised by the Pan-American flight engineer. On this trip, the engineer was Eddie Deacon. It was a big job, but they had 3 days. After discharging its passengers, the Clipper taxied across to Hythe. There it was manoeuvred onto a dolly, winched up a slipway, and towed into an enormous hangar. The transatlantic flight was a punishing task for the enormous 14-cylinder engines. On the longest leg, from Newfoundland to Ireland, the plane was in the air for 16.5 hours, the 15-foot propellers chopping through cloud, rain, and gales. For Eddie, that was the romance of engineering. It was wonderful that men could make engines that would work perfectly hour after hour. There were so many things that might go wrong, so many moving parts that had to be precision-made and meticulously fitted together so that they would not snap, slip, get blocked, or simply wear out while they carried a 41-ton airplane 2,000 miles. By Wednesday morning, the Clipper would be ready to do it again. The day war broke out was a lovely late summer Sunday, mild and sunny. A few minutes before the news was broadcast on the wireless, Margaret Oxenford stood outside the sprawling brick mansion that was her family home, fuming. Even though she was 19, she was forced to go to church. In the village, the bell tolled a monotonous note. Margaret hated church. A year ago she had summoned up the nerve to tell her father, "Don't you think it's hypocritical for me to go to church when I don't believe in God?" Father had replied, "Don't be ridiculous." Defeated and